Sausage?
Yeah, I'm giving you my sausage.
Give me all your sausage. Bet you heard that before, Pat. Hey, we are at Aloha Mall right now, and we're just walking around by ourselves because it's a cool thing to do on a Friday night in Hawaii. Woot woot. And so I had a question from one of my fans on YouTube, and her question was, what is like the financial aspects of living in Hawaii, and then also finding a job here? How easy is that, or how difficult? And what are our recommendations, or I guess advice on moving to Hawaii? Pat, do you want to start it off? Do you have anything you want? No. So something that I kind of thought about is that there's different ways of coming to Hawaii. So on one end of the spectrum, you have people who do a lot of pre-planning before they come to Hawaii, where they have a job lined up, they have all the moving expenses figured out, they have some money saved up, maybe even have bought a house already, or all that stuff already taken care of. On the other end of the spectrum is, for example, I had a friend that was visiting here, or living here, and she came here kind of on a whim and with only $2 to her name. That's one way you can do it as well. It's going to be a lot more difficult for you, but you can make it happen. Nice thing about Hawaii is that it is warm all year round, so you don't have to worry so much about being homeless in Hawaii. I shouldn't laugh about that, it's not funny.
Yeah, bye. Really?
But it is very expensive to live here. So, I mean, it's something you need to take into consideration if you're going to have a house over your head, or a roof over your head. That didn't make any sense, a house over your head. The Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of Kansas City you're talking about. But in general, you know, it is expensive to live here. I would suggest, if you don't have a job when you come here, you know, some people just come here and they move their whole life here and they just want to start new and look for jobs. If you know, it's a very competitive environment. At the end of the day, this is an island, and you know, there's only so much of certain things. And so if you could do your research beforehand and look for jobs on Craigslist, look at what's available here in Hawaii, and maybe get those at least set up, so by the time you come here you can start interviewing. You know, you can do that and be organized, because it's, you know, it costs so much to live here. People tend to, a lot of my coworkers, they were in Airbnbs for a while, or they were just like bumming on like couch surfing websites until they were able to find something more concrete.
That's fine.
And so, yeah, I would say do your research beforehand, and when you do come here, in terms of the competitiveness of the environment, for me, my company took care of my living expenses for the first 2 weeks, and then I was on my own after. And so I was looking for places on Craigslist in terms of where to live, and it's so competitive. Like, I would go there and there'd be 10 other people applying for the exact same spot, and you're just trying to make niceties with the owner. And so it's a competitive environment because there's not a lot of places to live in general. Did you have the same thing for your place right now? Was it hard to get your place?
The place I'm living?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a few other people that had applied for the same place I was living at. They just liked me better, so I got it.
Well, hold on. Let's see. If you're going to live in Waikiki, it's going to be harder because everyone wants to live there.
Yeah, it's going to be more expensive too.
Jesse lives in a bit further residential area, still about like a 15-minute drive to Waikiki.
It's pretty centrally located on the island. Yeah.
So if you live, the further you live from Waikiki, I would say it's a bit more easier to find places.
And everybody was telling me that white people don't go to Kalihi, and I was like, no, I'm going there. We're going against the trend.
He went to one of the most local neighborhoods in this island, and he's definitely against the odds, but he's still alive today.
I like to beat the odds.
So yeah, in terms of living, like the further you get from Waikiki, the more expensive. There's other residential areas outside of Waikiki. So I live in another place called Makiki, which is just directly north of Waikiki, and so it's more residential. Still a lot of condominium buildings. You'll find that a lot of people here do live in condos. It's not easy to, there's not a lot of those traditional houses here.
Right, and so you need to be prepared to do some downsizing if you move to Hawaii. If you're from the mainland, you're probably used to living in some spacious quarters.
Like you?
No, I mean, it's, on the mainland, things are, for the most part, most places, you're going to get more space for your money than you are in Hawaii. So you need to be prepared for the reality of not having as much space, not having as much nice things like brand new TV, flat screen, all that good stuff. And the trade-off there is that you're in Hawaii. I mean, you have beautiful surroundings. You have tons of things to do outside for free. Go to the beach, all that great stuff. So it's kind of a balance, weigh it with your options. And I mean, I think it's a pretty good trade-off. It's not for everybody, some people want that huge house with all the fancy things, and that's great too. I mean, if that's what you want. But if you want that here in Hawaii, you're definitely gonna have to pay more for that.
It definitely comes at a premium.
Yes.
Living on the mainland, there's more land, and living here, especially we both live in Honolulu. It's just so limited, like I mentioned earlier, and so the costs and everything associated with the cost of living is also limited. But like Jesse said, there's a lot of things that you can do for free. I guess if you want to talk more about our day-to-day life and what it takes to live here, I mean, we both probably, there's Safeway, Costco, Walmart, all the stuff that you would see on the mainland here. So there's nothing that you're probably unfamiliar with. The stuff that they say is true. Milk does cost like $5 a gallon. Mm-hmm. There are those exceptions. Yep. But
and as far as finding a job, I think it might be a little bit difficult for you if it's not a job that's in high demand and little supply. So what I mean by that is that if you have a field that's really, like for example nursing, they need a lot of nurses here because there's not enough nurses. So if you were to apply here, chances are you're probably going to get a job here right away for nursing.
I think the biggest industry here, though, is tourism, and you work in that industry.
Yeah.
With all the different tours, with all the different surfing lessons and beach lessons and whatever. Jesse's in that industry, and I think for you, are they always looking for people specific to that industry?
Well, they found me now, so no. No, but I think definitely if you don't already live here, you're going to be at a disadvantage to people that are already living here, because so many people are so very transient when they come here. So if they don't see that you're already living here, they're going to think that you're a tourist, that you're here for a little bit and then you're going to move on to the next place. And so I think that will kind of weigh against you if you're not already living here, unless it's like a job that is really in need, but not enough people here to take care of that job or to fill that job. Would you agree?
Sure. I wasn't listening, but
what else is new?
I think just different industries do very well here. But then just look online as much as possible, and as with any place, it's kind of like who you know. And so if you know anyone here who could help you out
this make me nervous.
To help you get ahead of the pool of people, it definitely helps you a lot. If you don't, then like I said, you're limited to stuff that you can find online. If you're in education, the University of Hawaii, Manoa, we have some friends who are affiliated with that. I have friends who are teachers and people who work with the school, which is a big school here too, has a lot of students. It's the only, it's the major school in the whole state of Hawaii, which is, and it's nearby Honolulu.
Basically, what he's trying to say is that we're well connected. We know,
I don't know if
we
we're
know
all
people.
connected.
We know people.
But I think that covers a lot of aspects in terms of what to do beforehand. If anything, you know, people just come here and they just figure it out when they get here. As long as they get here.
Just wing it.
Right. We're like literally in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, and there's definitely people that do that here. I would say that those people that do that though don't typically last here that long, because they didn't really plan for the future, didn't really put any like forethought into it.
I would say the majority of our friends probably live with roommates. You know, it's difficult to find a place for yourself, and if you do find a studio, you know, it'll be a small studio, and and parking is super limited in so many areas. So in terms of your personal vehicles, in terms of all the typical niceties that is probably normal to us in the mainland, it's just understand that the space is limited here.
Yeah.
And parking stalls all come at a premium, and so mine was about $100 a month for me to rent it in my condo, and so yeah. And I live in a condo. Jesse over here lives in a house, and so. Different styles of living.
Yeah, and I live with roommates, and so if that's something you're not used to, and it's something you don't want to get used to, then maybe consider that.
Yeah, and our friend, we also have another friend who actually lives with someone in that same room, you know, because it's probably the cheapest you can find a place is if
it's so dark here.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Maybe we should turn back. But yeah, in general, you can get by, but definitely you have to have a job. Some people have multiple jobs
good point.
in order to get by, and so it just depends what industry you're in. It's a blast to live here. You're blessed with the best weather and experience, but it does come at a cost. So just take all that into consideration before you decide to move your whole life here.
Right. So we're walking through the mall right now.
Sorry, what?
Keep going.
Oh, but what?
No, I'm just enjoying your voice right now.
Oh, I thought you were doing your video.
Well, I was until I heard that beautiful voice.
Oh, everyone should stop for that.
I was just gonna say, like, we're walking through the mall right now, and kind of realizing, like, having a little bit of a flashback to my high school days, like walking through the mall back in my hometown. I'm kind of seeing some of these younger kids here just kind of chilling and hanging out at the mall. I don't know. Do you have any?
It's what you do when you're broke.
And when you're in high school and you can't go to the bars, right?
You can put your cart like right in front of it, so like kind of blocks it.
We gotta make sure it's perfect.
Nice to meet you. This is Tori. This is Noi.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. Hurry before they dig out on us. No, he needs us to promise. Okay, this is your push-up today.
There you go.
You guys happen to be military?
I don't know.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll share this with you after.
Okay.
Okay. Brother, get out. Let's do it. My son. Hurry up, the lights are they're turning the lights on. Okay, hurry before you turn them off on us.
Today is day 8 of my country. And today's my day 17 of 22. We're at Costco, we're here at Michelin, and we got Jesse and Captain over here. He's counting for us.
Observing.
And say hug here too. Okay. Ready, go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, woo, 23.